At least $2.3 billion was liquidated from the crypto market today. This number actually probably pales in comparison to how much actually got dumped into the market. Because while, yes, CoinGlass does show $2 billion worth of liquidations, the Bybit CEO and co-founder went ahead and reported that just over the 24 hours alone, Bybit, as one crypto exchange, reported $2 billion. So the real number should at least be $8 to $10 billion. We're going to be talking about what's going on with HBAR XRP, the crypto markets today. This is one of those days that we're going to be looking back at this. There's a lot of people out there that talk a lot of smack about how crypto investors don't know how to weather out the storm, that they got lucky, that they're simply just people that get into the markets, get out, and magically don't know what to do because they're new money. This is one of those moments that you hold through this kind of volatility and you understand what it really means to be in crypto. It's normal in bull markets to get these harsh, very harsh, drastic price crashes. We're seeing this with altcoins. We're seeing what is one of the first deviations in crypto history, if not the first deviation in crypto history, from what the median was. And the median was that if Bitcoin were like stable, that altcoins would follow relatively. I mean, we see Bitcoin right now is at $96,000, has really held its ground, but we see here HBAR, XRP, these cryptos that were doing incredible, now beginning to correct. So I want to just start this off by saying that no, I'm not just magically going to be selling while altcoins are down. I follow a very simple principles, and that's the 2x, 5x, 10x rule. It's something that I invented. It's not rocket science. It's very simple. It's that when I 2x my profits, if I'm not confident on a position, I will take half out. That means I'm still going to have the other half and I'll have my money back. As fast as you can get your money back in crypto, the better you'll likely do. You can remove the emotions from your trades. That long-term will be exactly what you need to be a successful trader. Following the fundamentals is that much harder when you have too much money in crypto, too much exposure. So making sure you have the fundamentals straight, for me, has always been the play. You know, with HBAR, for example, we got in very early on, and, you know, I've already made my money back on HBAR. I've already made my money back on XRP. Whatever happens, happens at this point. And this is no guarantee that the market will continue to go up or that the market will go down. There really is no guarantee here. The market could do whatever it wants, but placing yourself in a position where you're able to take profit and write out whatever scenario happens is key. A good example of this, and I'll call myself out on this, was the top 10 crypto gaming tokens list that I made back in November of 2023. You look at this list today, and the all-time profit of it is actually down about 12%. But had you actually gotten into it and done the 2x, 5x, 10x rule, then you would have had two take profit points. One when this portfolio hit $2,000, and the other one when the portfolio hit about almost $5,000. So those two take profit points, you would have been fine. And despite the fact that, yes, Bitcoin is up about 170-ish%, you would have been up overall because you would have taken that profit. So these are those moments where, yeah, you know, we're all down a lot of money. I mean, I'm down six figures just today, but we also understand that there are some things that are going on our favor. One is these liquidations are actually very good things for a long-term bull market. The fact is that when people do not care anymore, that is when we are in a bear market. As long as there is volatility, and volatility because of external reasons that have nothing to do with the crypto markets, that is a very positive thing, because it means that it's not just crypto, it's everything in between that is being affected. If you actually go and look at the stock market today, it's down about 1.7% on the S&P 500, which, you know, I know 1% is not much, but, you know, 1% is still 1%. And that is enough to get some of these more volatile markets to correct a heck of a lot more. And that's what's happening right now. Crypto is still seen as that risky industry. Of course, the altcoin's much more risky than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's only down 3%. The deviation that I was talking about earlier is the deviation between the altcoins and Bitcoin. Historically, when Bitcoin goes up, there is some sort of following. We're not seeing that right now. I've never seen this before. Now, there are a lot of people that will immediately go and say that this is different. This cycle feels different. The truth is that every cycle feels different because every cycle is different in some way or another. There are deviations from the median, and it's totally normal to have these things. What we're getting right now is unprecedented American volume. And that American volume is seeping into every facet of the crypto industry. I mean, you even see here, one of the most hyped sectors is made in the USA. So cryptocurrencies made in the United States that can take advantage. Of course, HBAR XRP are part of that list. What's important to keep in mind is that when the US goes through something, if we recently got a catalyst because of that, we're going to get that volatility. We're going to be part of that. The trade war that's currently going on with Canada, China, Mexico against the US, because the US is trying to go ahead and push for what they want to push for, regardless of your politics, it is something. Trade wars, overall, I would say that there is no victor in war. You know, if people are dying, if people are suffering, at the end of the day, no matter who ends up quote unquote winning, there is no winner in war. But what I will say is that eventually this doesn't correlate. The external events that happen in the world, just like COVID, these will bounce back and the cycle will continue doing what it does. As long as there is volume, as long as there are people interested, then the crypto markets will bounce back. And other things that are fairly optimistic is there was a question here by Azogs here, shout out to him, to have a comparison. What was your actual liquidation during the FTX collapse? Because the FTX collapse, the biggest crypto exchange collapse of all time. And how does it compare as a percentage of open interest? And the data goes ahead and suggests that it's about 4 to 6 times of what was reported, which is a lot larger. Now, the event feels larger in absolute terms, the current one, but in terms of the open interest, it's a little bit more neutral. And what that means is that by a number standpoint, this likely was the biggest crypto collapse that we have seen from a liquidation standpoint, from a leverage standpoint in history, which is why I always tell you, you need to be very careful with leverage. I almost never touch leverage. You know, we have exchange links, but I mean, I trade spot. I'm a very simple trader. I don't trade a lot of leverage. And because I trade mostly spot, I don't really get affected by a vast majority of these events. That is the number one thing. If you're someone getting into crypto, you don't have patience, you shouldn't be trading in these markets because these markets are volatile. They will be bound to 30, 50, 60, 70% corrections before you get those moves up. A great comparison that happened to me personally was AXS. I got into AXS. Actually, it's kind of a little bit sobering here. A very similar price point to this. I think it was $3.80 before we had this absolute monumental run of AXS. During this whole run, we had moments, and I still remember this very vividly, where AXS went up to about $20, and it went all the way back down almost several times before inevitably it went all the way to its all-time high. I mean, you see even here, $82, all the way down to $50. Some of these corrections were really major before we got that top blast at $160. Did I sell at $160? Did I magically time this top? Am I some YouTube guru that's selling a course? No, not yet. Not yet. I actually sold pretty much everything in Axie about $50, $60-ish dollars. I very much missed the top. I got in at $3.80 though. I mean, I still got that 10x on my investment, which is what you need to learn. You need to humble yourself in crypto. You're not always going to get those 100x plays. 100x plays are very unlikely. If you could stack 10x's, if you could stack 5x's, if you could stack 2x's, you're well on your way to what is a much more profitable lifestyle than the lifestyle being provided in the stock market. We have to humble ourselves. We have to make sure that we understand that these crypto markets have ebb and flows. Things will happen. But overall, I still consider this crypto cycle intact. I'm not selling my crypto at these price points. I actually did sell a fair amount of crypto in January because the markets were euphoric. Trump was about to become president. Let me give you a little bit of something I actually told my wife today. So a little bit funny here. So I was talking to her about the fact that these are kind of the mentality that you got to have when you're in the crypto space. So right before Trump got elected, this is in November, I remember that I personally was even contemplating the possibility of going to a country like Dubai because I'm like, it doesn't seem like the US is going to improve. It seems like the situation is going to get worse. And pretty much everybody here is going to be seen as some kind of criminal in crypto. No matter, even if they do the things the right way, they have a tax accountant, which I have one. And, you know, I try to do things as ethically as possible. Even I was contemplating because I'm like, this is too ridiculous situation. It's impossible to be compliant. And the market was pricing that in. They thought Kamala very well might have won. Bitcoin was at 50K, was ranging for 6 months. It was different from the cycle. Maybe it was over. He wins, everybody's overly euphoric, Bitcoin pumps to 100K, everybody is just getting rich, there's so much money flowing. So the ebb and flow went from everybody is dooming to everybody is overly euphoric. And what happens eventually, and this happens with you every day, it's called dopamine. Your dopamine levels need to have their ups and downs. You're never going to be in the extremities, but you very much are going to have your ups and downs. And that's normal. If you're always on the up, then eventually you got to come down. And when you come down, you're going to come down twice as hard. And that's why drugs and a lot of these psychedelics, they have their pros, they have their cons, but you have to have moderation in everything that you do. And the moderation comes in what happened after Trump got elected. And of course, the executive orders that he's gone ahead and done, the trade wars, these are kind of either his grand plan to kind of come back to the medium to force things to change, or they're just the natural way that the world works. We need to have these times where volatility happens. If we never had volatility, then there would never be an opportunity that people thought they could make money. And if people don't think they can make money, if people don't think there are inefficiencies in any markets, then they're not going to invest. Why would I invest into Bitcoin at $108,000 if it just keeps going up forever? I'm going to feel like at some point, this has got to dip. I'm not going to invest. And that's when everything kind of comes to a crawl. If everything went up forever, eventually people would stop putting money in because they would think that there is some kind of little rigging going on. I can't make money off of this. If they think they can make money off of it, then they will make money off of it. And that is a great lesson. Today's going to be a great lesson for the people watching my videos in 2025, for the people watching them in 2026, 2027. When they come back to me and they say that I got lucky or that we got lucky, well, I just want you to... I want you to go ahead and show them this 7-day graph on XRP. And XRP wasn't even the crypto that went down the most. And over the past 7 days, this Pudgy Penguins coin went down 43%. Trump coin's down 35%. World coin 34%. It's a very volatile week. I'm still holding though. And I think that if you hold enough over a long enough time horizon on these cryptocurrencies that are actually having an impact in this Bitcoin bull cycle, that you're going to be rewarded. And that's my personal belief. There's no guarantee in this world. It's not financial advice, but this is not a time to panic. Honestly, this is a time to probably go on vacation and just not look at your screen for 2 weeks. Until the next time, subscribe, and that's all.